Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power takes viewers deep into the lore of Middle-earth, focusing on the Second Age, a time that predates the events of Peter Jackson's iconic film series by thousands of years. This era is marked by the epic struggle between good and evil, as the inhabitants of Middle-earth fight to protect their homes from a growing darkness. While most threats come from recognizable antagonists like Sauron, played by Charlie Vickers and Adar Sam Hazeldine, Season 2, Episode 6 of The Rings of Power, titled Where Is He?, introduces a new, terrifying creature, a sea monster known as the Numenórean sea worm. This gigantic, tentacled beast with razor-sharp teeth makes its appearance in the middle of a power struggle within Numenor. But what exactly is this sea worm, and is it as dangerous as it looks? The sea worm's role in the Rings of Power is brief but significant. In Episode 6, the creature plays a pivotal part in the storyline surrounding Numenor, an island kingdom experiencing political and cultural turmoil. The conflict centers on Miriel Cynthia Adai Robinson, the daughter of the former king and Pharazôn Tristan Gravel, who rises to power in her father's place. Miriel represents the dwindling group of faithful, a faction of Numenorians who still revere the Valar, the godlike beings that helped shape Middle-earth. Pharazôn, on the other hand, embodies the more secular faction of Numenor, which has turned away from the old ways. The sea worm's appearance marks a key moment in this power struggle. When Elendil Lloyd Owen, one of Miriel's staunch supporters, refuses to denounce his beliefs and swear allegiance to Pharazôn, he is arrested and put on trial. Pharazôn, in a twist of irony, sentences Elendil to face the sea worm as punishment, a form of trial by combat that harkens back to ancient Numenorian traditions tied to the faithful. Elendil's survival depends on whether the creature decides to kill him or let him live, serving as a way for the Valar to intervene in mortal affairs. However, Miriel, believing that Elendil's supposed treason was done in her name, chooses to take his place. As she descends into the waters, the sea worm appears, its massive tentacles wrapping around her and pulling her under. The tension rises as viewers wonder whether Miriel will survive her encounter with the beast. In a surprising turn, the creature examines her briefly, lets out a thunderous call, and spits her back out onto the shore unharmed. Miriel's miraculous survival reaffirms her status among the Numenorians, suggesting that the sea worm may be a tool of the Valar, delivering their judgment and reinforcing the idea that the old ways, though fading, still hold power. The trial, by sea monster, serves as more than just a dramatic plot point. It symbolizes the deep connection between Numenor and the Valar. The faithful, like Miriel, still believe in the Valar's influence over the world, while Pharazôn and his followers have largely abandoned this belief. The sea worm's behavior during Miriel's trial suggests that the creature may be an extension of the Valar's will, acting as their enforcer in mortal matters. Its sparing of Miriel's life appears to signal divine approval, allowing her to reclaim some authority in the ongoing power struggle. While the concept of a trial by combat is not new to fantasy literature, the Rings of Power adds a fresh twist by introducing the sea worm as the arbiter of justice. This not only heightens the tension between Miriel and Pharazôn, but also highlights the thematic conflict between faith and skepticism that runs throughout the series. The sea worm's intervention could be seen as the Valar's way of reminding the Numenorians that they are still watching, and that the old traditions have not been entirely forgotten. One of the most intriguing aspects of the sea worm in the Rings of Power is that it does not appear in J.R.R. Tolkien's original legendarium. While much of the series is inspired by Tolkien's extensive writings, the sea worm is a creation unique to the show. This edition may surprise some fans, but it is not entirely out of place within the broader context of Middle-earth's mythology. Tolkien did occasionally mention sea creatures, though they were not a prominent feature in his works. In The Lost Road and other writings, for instance, Tolkien references sea serpents and fish dragons, mythical creatures that exist more as legends than as active threats in the stories. These references are fleeting, and Tolkien never fully developed the idea of sea monsters in Middle-earth. Most of his stories take place far from the ocean, in regions where land-based creatures like trolls, orcs, and dragons dominate the narrative. That said, Numenor is an island kingdom, and it makes sense that the showrunners of the Rings of Power would introduce a sea creature to explore the unique challenges faced by its inhabitants. Given the oceanic setting, the sea worm feels like a natural addition to the world, even if it doesn't have a direct counterpart in Tolkien's writing. Season 2 isn't the first time viewers have seen a sea worm in the Rings of Power. In Season 1, Galadriel Morfydd Clark encounters a similar creature during her journey across the sea. After jumping off the boat that was supposed to carry her to the undying lands of Valinor, Galadriel tries to swim back to Middle-earth. During her perilous swim, she comes across a sea worm that terrorizes the survivors of a shipwreck, including Halbrand, who is later revealed to be Sauron in disguise. While it's unclear if this is the same creature that later spares Miriel, it appears to be of the same species. The sea worm in Season 1 displays far more aggression, attacking the shipwreck survivors without hesitation. However, this may be because one of the survivors is Sauron, an enemy of the Valar. The fact that the sea worm is aggressive towards Sauron but spares Miriel suggests that the creature may indeed be acting on behalf of the Valar, targeting those who oppose them while protecting those who remain loyal. The connection between the sea worm and the Valar is further reinforced by its location. Both encounters with the sea worm occur in the waters between Numenor and Valinor, hinting that these creatures may serve as guardians of this sacred space. The show leaves much of this connection shrouded in mystery, adding an intriguing layer to the mythology of Middle-earth. The sea worm's presence raises questions about the role of the Valar in the events of the Second Age, and whether they are more involved in the fate of Numenor than previously thought. While the sea worm may be a new addition to the world of Middle-earth, its inclusion in the Rings of Power fits well within the series' exploration of Numenorian culture and the influence of the Valar. The creature serves as both a physical threat and a symbolic representation of the island kingdom's spiritual crisis. By sparing Miriel and attacking Sauron, the sea worm becomes a mysterious, powerful force that adds depth to the show's depiction of the Second Age. As the series continues to unfold, the sea worm may reappear, offering further insight into its origins and its connection to the Valar. Whether it is a protector of the faithful or a mere tool of divine judgment, the sea worm adds a fascinating new layer to the complex world of the Rings of Power. Its presence not only raises the stakes for the characters involved, but also enriches the lore of Middle-earth in unexpected ways, proving that even in a world as well explored as Tolkien's, there is always room for new stories to be told.